got me started. Hustling my favorite topic. I'm from the Rocket City, so I get it soft and rocky. I just can't seem to stop it. That's why they love to copy.
Flyest in the Rocket, the podcast, episode 1. Thank you for stopping by. I am your host, Mr. Big Boy Talk. I would like to thank the sponsors for this opportunity. This episode is sponsored by Kung Fu Bando. Check out bandoliving.com for more information. Let's give a shout out to my co-host Francesca. How are you doing today, Miss Lady?
Hello, everyone.
So what are we talking about today? Francesca.
Hey all, how are y'all doing today? There is so much we can get into, but I have narrowed down the topics for us. We need to talk about this year's college football champions, Georgia. And what's your opinion on Stetson Bennett Sage? Will Alabama be back next year? The NFL playoffs, who do you think will win it all? I also came across some street gossip about Yo Gotti, the latest on YSL, and more.
So Francesca, the Georgia Bulldogs are back-to-back champs. Congratulations. It's obvious that Georgia and Kirby Smart have figured it out. Coach Smart took some of that secret sauce from Alabama with him to Athens. Let's not ponder about Uncle Stetson's age too long. We know one thing about Stetson. He has no quit in him. Alabama will definitely be back next year with the new playoff system happening. I can't see Alabama not getting back to the top of the mountain of college football sooner than later. The NFL playoffs, it is stacking up pretty good. I'm leaning toward the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC and the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. So Bengals, Eagles win the Super Bowl 30-24. So Francesca, what is this street gossip you've heard about Yo Gotti and the latest on YSL?
Yes, according to the streets, Yo Gotti may be linked to Young Dolph's murder. Is Yo Gotti into deep? And the New York Times latest headline reads, violent gang or rap label. Prosecutors say Young Thug's YSL is both. With a blockbuster case set to begin, the superstar rapper sits at the intersection of complex questions about art, crime, and the criminal justice system. Yes, we have a lot to get into. I hope you ready. Flyest in the Rocket, the podcast. We here now. They old news.
I'm from the Rocket City, so I get it soft and rocky. I just can't seem to stop it. That's why they love to copy. We from the Rocket City, so we get it soft and rocky.
Welcome back, Flyest in the Rocket, the podcast. Much love to everyone listening, everyone that's watching. I am your host, Mr. Big Boy Talk. I always like thanking the sponsors for this opportunity to be great. Again, this episode is sponsored by Kung Fu Bando. Check out bandoliving.com for more information. So if you would like to sponsor an episode, our inbox is definitely open for business. Let's not forget my co-host Francesca. I hope you got one ready for us over there.
You already know, Flyest in the Rocket, the podcast, ha 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 ha. You need to calm down over there.
So Francesca, I don't really have much to say about Yo Gotti. I'm not really a fan. I did see him and Angela Simmons cuddled up recently when I was browsing the internet. Congratulations to him for pulling that off. And the latest on YSL. Where do I start? All I have to say is, life's a bitch. Now if Young Thug is responsible for bodies, as they say, and they have proof, it is over for him. I never wish jail on no one, but if he was responsible for one of my family members' demise, it couldn't be no free Young Thug around me, period. I would want some type of justice, but that's just me. So, Francesca, what's next on the agenda for today?
Next on the agenda would be the topic of King James. He is closing in on being the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Would this achievement put James at the top of the GOAT conversation over Jordan? And there is also a plethora of internet gossip we can dive into as well.
Flyest in the Rocket, the podcast. We are here now. Yes, they are old news.
Underground God flow, blowing smoke out my nostrils. Big boy talk, he's so calm and hostile. 40 on my hip, ready for the jostle. Underground king, he might be.
Yes, we are back. Let us dive right into this King James topic. Once James claims the NBA's all-time leading scoring crown, Jordan fans need to sit down and really think, and they should come to the realization that Jordan is no longer and never really was the GOAT in the NBA. Michael Jordan is merely the GOAT of selling shoes. What King James is doing from a career standpoint will stand as an Iron Man feat for generations to come. So let me salute the true NBA GOAT, LBJ, King James. Congratulations on resetting the bar for greatness. So Francesca, could you please update us with the latest internet gossip?
Yes, prosecutors across the country are asking Congress to let state prisons jam cell phones. 22 prosecutors, all Republicans, led by South Carolina's Attorney General Alan Wilson, wrote in a letter sent Wednesday to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. We should also talk about Joe Burrow. He has been gaining steam in the MVP discussion in recent days. Is Joe Burrow the real deal? Is it his time to shine?
So you said there are 22 prosecutors, all Republicans, asking Congress to pass a law that will allow them to jam cell phones in state prisons. That's a tough one. I try not to get too political, but I get it. On one hand, we are able to communicate with a family member who is unfortunately in prison, but fortunate enough to have a cell phone while they are there. On the other hand, a family member may become a victim of these cell phone usages if they are unfortunate enough to have to go to one of these state prisons. I get both sides of the argument, whether it's state prisons, federal prisons, any prison is not the place to be. If you are able to avoid the penal system, please, I repeat, please do. So the discussion of who will be the NFL's MVP this year, Mr. Joe Cool. He is definitely living up to the hype of being the next great quarterback. I am no Bengals fan, but I would have to say whoever wins the AFC Championship would definitely be the front runner for MVP. I was totally sold on Jalen Hurts winning MVP a month ago, but now I believe it's down to Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow at this point of the season. So Francesca, what is this story I'm hearing out of Memphis?
The Associated Press is reporting that 5 now fired Memphis police officers were charged Thursday with murder and other crimes in the killing of Tyre Nichols, a black motorist who died 3 days after a confrontation with the officers during a traffic stop. The officers, who are all black, each face charges of second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, and official oppression. Video of the January 7th traffic stop will be released to the public sometime today.
That's the first sign that your heart was weak. So I broke my chest out and got so deeply involved in the streets. Search for truth. What's the youth? Refuse to choose the path. See destruction getting close, but still I choose the task. Get cash, young nigga. OGs encourage the hustle, so I put my mind on my money. I'm so certain the bubble. Some of my childhood peers witness.
Flyest in the Rocket, the podcast. We are here now.
So judgmental.
Yes, they are
but remember, we were born in sin. Just lost 2 homies to a home invasion. I gotta mourn for them. I sworn to them the revenge will come before sleep, and I'll be waiting with my AK for whoever come for me. I sworn to them the revenge will come before sleep, and I'll be waiting with my AK for whoever come for me. I'm heartless. Lord forgive me, the streets made me this way. I'm my mama's lost son. She didn't raise me this way, but baby, it ain't over. to that fat lady sing.